good Wednesday morning. Keith Tebow from FRC Media. Thank you for joining us. It is our weekly time that we check in with Mayor Paul Coogan, Mayor of the City of Fall River. Mayor, how are you this week?
I'm doing great, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well as we are beginning May and spring has sprung and a lot of events coming up. When we hit May and then we get into June locally and on many levels in the Commonwealth, a lot of focus shifts on city budget and state budget in Boston. I know you're putting the final touches on the FY 2024 city spending plan. I guess what's the update with that, and when do you plan to send it to the city council?
We worked on it yesterday a little bit. We had a meeting in the afternoon. I think that's just about done. There's a few numbers we're checking. Obviously, we don't have the final numbers from the state on what the unrestricted government aid is going to be. A couple of things we're looking at in education. So those numbers aren't final yet, but we're going to have a budget to the council. We are supposed to have it, I think, by the middle of June, but we'll have it before then. We'll be sending it down shortly. It's just about 98% done. And again, with those variables, we can't factor everything in, but we have a balanced budget going down to the council and containing most of the stuff that we want to see getting done in the city. And of course, we still have ARPA money left, and we're building up our stabilization funds. So those are all positives, and I think most people are going to be pleased with it.
Now, in terms of the ARPA funding, from what I understand, the money has to be allocated, I believe, by 2024, but spent by 2026. So is a lot of that money going to be in this budget because it covers part of next year?
There's going to be a little bit under the lost revenue provision. Again, that was the focus of the meeting yesterday. Well, how much of that we're going to use? That's the kind of money that's almost like a separate, rainy day fund or stabilization fund. So we're going to use a little bit of it, and the big expenses we have left to cover on the regular ARPA money, not the lost revenue proportion of it, is going to be mostly, we're going to be trying to do a lot of one-time expenses on infrastructure, whether it's streets, sidewalks, water, capital improvements, trucks for the DCM, police cars, fire equipment, anything we can do to try to get stuff that we're going to have to buy down the road so that we'll diminish the strain on the taxpayers later. But those are the kind of things we're looking for right now, with bringing back some money from some of our ARPA programs that may have a little surplus, and we'll reallocate it, like I said, to help the whole community.
Yeah. Shifting gears now, the Route 79 reconstruction project is in full force. It's been going on for quite some time now. People I guess, are getting used to the change in traffic patterns. There's going to be a little bit of an adjustment next week as they continue to demolish part of that structure. How has your office responded to any concerns that may have come up, and have there been many?
No, it's been relatively peaceful, Keith. Obviously, people are in awe of how fast that highway is coming down. And once we get it down to the level of what the boulevards were on both sides of it, then we can start doing our infrastructure work, whether it's, like I said, the electric, the water, the sewerage, the CSO work. So we'll do all that before, obviously, anything goes into the ground related to going up from there. But at the same time, they're really moving, and I think most people have been very, very pleased with how fast they're going. Everybody's cooperated on the traffic patterns. We're getting through this right now with minimal amount of headaches. Obviously, along the waterfront this summer, we're going to lose some parking, but we're trying to make provisions for that, and we'll work our way through it. That's all we can do.
In conjunction with that, I had the opportunity last week to speak with Gene Fox of South Coast Rail just to get an update on what's happening with the depot here in Fall River, which is fully constructed. They're just looking to finalize some signal work and some testing of the trains. The goal is still to have South Coast Rail here by the end of this year. But one of the topics that was brought up is because of the number of events that are going to be planned this summer down on the waterfront, parking, as you mentioned, is going to be an issue. And she mentioned that she's working with the city to see if that South Coast Rail parking lot, which will not be used for quite some time, can be used for parking for events downtown this summer. What's your view on how that's going along? Do you think that an agreement will be reached?
Yeah, Danny Aggie, I've been working with the MBTA and particularly Gene Fox. I think we're going to be fine on that. There's 150 or 200 spots over there, right behind, the plaza at the bottom of President Avenue that, you'll have to walk over, but it's not much farther than anything else. That can make up some of the loss. We're looking at a couple other things we may be able to do. But again, working with the MBTA, I think, like you said, they're just about ready to go. A couple of little pieces they have to finish. I thought it was the Weaver Street Bridge, but if you're saying it's signals, that's what it is. But we're almost ready to go. And if we all work together, as I just said on 79, we'll work our way along here and transition an entire stretch of the city to something better down the road, working together.
And I also understand that part of the reconstruction project, at least for this year, is that if there is some parking available at the South Coast Rail Depot, that the construction work from Mass DOT is going to create some sort of crosswalk that will
Yep.
get people across 79, correct, to the waterfront.
Correct. They'll be able to, I think about a block north of there is the President Avenue underpass. That's coming out obviously too, but they're going to give us a walkway along there so people can get over to the water side, whether it's to the wall or the Iwo Jima Monument or down to the city pier or the restaurant. So we're going to work with them. And again, that's picking up more spaces than we're losing along the road. But at the same time, it's a little bit of a walk.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, this week, your office, in conjunction with DCM, has announced that those in Fall River who have damaged or broken trash receptacles can get those fixed for free over the next month, actually 2 months, toward the end of June. And it was amazing to me to find out that how long the bins have been actually out there. It's been quite some time since those trash bins have been out there, and I'm sure there are a number that have been damaged. And this will be done free of charge for any city resident.
Yeah, the wheels, a cover. I mean, it's heavy duty plastic, so it's tough to demolish it completely. But at the same time, there are people that we get more calls on lids and wheels and things like that than we do on Route 79. I'll guarantee you that. So we're going to go street by street and start to fix these things up so that going forward, they can properly function and take some of the stress off our residents. Obviously, trash is still something we're working intensely on right now. And that's just one of the pieces, making sure all the carts are identified so we know where they're from and that they're in proper working condition. It's just another piece of running the city.
Now, this is important to know. This is separate from the trash pickup. The trash pickup is separate. This is actually DCM crew that's going to be going out during the day of pickup. So let's say your pickup day is Wednesday. DCM is asking that you keep your carts out for pretty much the whole day.
Right.
That if they happen to be in your part of that pickup area, they're going to be looking at the carts, identifying them to make sure that they're in the right spot, and also doing those fixes. So you're looking for some cooperation from the public as well here.
Yeah. Fall River always cooperates pretty good on things like that. It's just a matter of once the barrels are empty, they're going to check them and make sure everything's in working order. It's no charge to anybody, so we want to make sure they understand it long term. It'll make trash pickup better.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay, Keith, thank you.
All right, and as always, thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great week.